Okay, the video cut out because my SD card was full. Now I have to combine the two videos, which I've never done before. I'll just post them. So hopefully you can just tag them, splice them together. Okay? So, where were we? So, yeah. What does this maker like? So, in order to answer any question, we just look around. You just look at existence. It has all the answers there for you. The existence itself is the biggest laboratory in existence. What do we get from laboratories? Scientific conclusions. So, the biggest laboratory in existence is existence itself. All the events that happen in existence tell you something. And if they don't, it's because we cannot figure it out yet. And we will never be able to figure out some of those. We will come to that. We will never ever be able to figure out some of the ways of how existence works because of our limitations, our physical limitations, and our existential limitations. Let's put it that way. And however, a lot of them we are able to figure out. And this is one of them. What is the maker like? So you look around, and we said that what is the biggest, and whenever you want to figure something out, you start with the big picture and you move your way down to the details. That's the way. Don't go the other way. Almost never. Okay? So, because it's confusing, you'll get lost and you'll lose your way most of the time. So, what is the big picture? What is the biggest thing that you see, any human being sees? It's the sky, right? There is nothing bigger than the sky. And it continues. So there's only so much you can see with your naked eye, with your unequipped eye. Then they have the visual optical telescopes. Then they have the radio telescopes that they can see way, 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 way back into the what they call the edge of the universe, the edge of existence. So that's what we can see. So a couple of neat facts about the sky. So as you move farther into the sky, you also are moving back in time. So light travels at roughly about 186,000 miles a second. So that's a huge number, but in astronomical distances, it's not. It's just a number. So meaning it has a finite speed. So, and the reason that we see anything is because of visible light with our naked eyes, right? And also, nothing travels faster than light. The invisible rays of the spectrum, magnetic frequencies, electromagnetic frequencies, like for example, X-rays and gamma rays, which are gamma rays are the most high energy electromagnetic frequencies, okay? And then you come down to X-rays, and then you have visible light, and then you go down to infrared and radio waves. And infrared is basically heat. So those are the long waves, infrared and heat, and radio waves. I mean infrared, which is also heat, and radio waves. And then you have visible light, and then you have X-rays and gamma rays, which are the short wavelengths of the electromagnetic spectrum. And so it doesn't matter what kind of electromagnetic spectrum or frequency it is, whether it's short wave or long wave, it does not travel faster than light. So light is the absolute top speed of anything in existence, and it's right around 186,000 miles, 330,000 kilometers per second. So that means that if you do the math, it works out to some number of miles per hour, and some number of miles per day, and some number of miles per week, and some number of miles per year. That's called a light year. The number of miles, the number of kilometers actually, that, or it can be done anyways, but the rest of the world has a metric system. We in the United States use the English system. So we go by miles, they go by kilometers, meters and kilometers. Kilo means 1,000. So kilometers is basically 1,000 meters. So they calculate it by kilometers. So the number of kilometers that light travels in a year is called a light year. So therefore, if something is 2 light years away from us, let's say a star, the light from that thing is going to take 2 years to get to us. So when we look at it, we are seeing it as it was 2 years ago. And the same thing, like there are things that are billions of light years away from us. So as we look at them, we are looking at them as they were a billion years ago, because the light that left them a billion years ago is just now getting to us today. So when we see that light, we are looking at them as they were a billion years ago. Right now, are they there? Who knows? We don't know. Nobody knows if they are there right now. Okay, so we go back into the history of existence as we go deeper and deeper into space. So that's a very interesting fact about looking into the sky. So when we look at the sky, we see billions and billions of galaxies and stars and other celestial bodies. And what is the relationship between all of these celestial bodies with one another? Well, tolerance. They all tolerate each other, right? Because if they didn't, they wouldn't be there. I mean, seriously, when you really think about the meaning of the word tolerance, what is it? It's just that if something did not tolerate something else, it would get rid of it. It would end its existence, right? And then you wouldn't have to deal with that anymore, right? For example, somebody doesn't tolerate a fly. They kill it with a fly swatter if they cannot tolerate it. If they tolerate it, they would let it just fly around them. Buzz, 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 and you know how annoying flies are, right? I personally hate doing that, but sometimes that's the only time that you have to do it. Like if a mosquito is there or if something, but a lot of times I catch them. Most of the time, I open the door or something and they leave. They want to leave. Okay, so once they sense that draft or air or whatever, once they know it's outside, they leave most of the time. So, but in any case, sometimes you have to swat them with a fly swatter. Why? Because you can't tolerate them. Okay, that's the bottom line. So, anything that is around something else is because that thing is tolerating that something else in existence. Okay? So that doesn't mean it's happy with it, right? It's not necessarily happy with it, but it's tolerating it, right? Okay. Now stars, to our sensation, we cannot tell if they're happy or unhappy. They just exist, right? Because in our definition of existence, they are non-living things. And non-living things, they don't show happiness or unhappiness. So therefore they tolerate and they do what they are supposed to do. They go around each other and they have gravities. And so there's billions and billions, and they have been tolerating each other forever, and it seems like it's going to go on forever, for as long as we know, right? So what does tolerance mean? Well, it means they are compassionate to each other, right? Because when you really coexist with something else, and we have no reason to believe that they are unhappy. As a matter of fact, if I had to, even though they're not living, all right? When they are going around, letting them do whatever they want to do, the other stars are doing whatever they want to do, the other celestial bodies are doing whatever they want to do, then this star is doing whatever he wants to do, right? Billions and billions of them. It seems that they're pretty darn happy with each other too, right? For billions of years. The universe has been around for, they say, somewhere around 13.8 billion years, rounded off to 14 billion, okay? So I call it the universe existence, okay? Universe is just a label, so I call it existence, so we don't get into bickerings about, oh, it's not a universe, it's a multiverse, whatever, okay? It's existence, okay? So it's been around for right around 14 billion years. So, and so anyhow, it's been tolerating each other, it's compassionate towards one another, right? Now, every once in a while, they fall into each other's gravitational field, and like a black hole sucks something in. Okay, that happens infrequently, okay? And by the way, the reason that whatever celestial body fell into the black hole or some stronger star's gravity field and it gets sucked in is because that thing was at the end of its life anyways. It had lost its energy. So that's how their existence ends. Some of them, right? But for the other billions and billions and billions and billions of them, existence goes on. So compassion. What is compassion? Compassion is when you just grant something just for the kindness and for the goodness of seeing that grantee have it. Being grant something, right? Just for that reason. That's compassion. It's not because of you, it's not because of them, it's because of them, but it's not because of you at all. Your ego is not there whatsoever. In pure compassion, your ego is not there whatsoever. Okay? Now we can argue whether pure compassion has the capacity to exist in human existence, but that's the theoretical definition of compassion. So, for example, the closest that a human being can come to that is that when you give $10 to a homeless person, and the only reason that you give that $10, $20, whatever it is, the only reason is for them to have it and enjoy it, whatever they do with it. Whatever they do with it, for them to have it. It's not because you want to feel good. It's not because you want others to see you and say, oh, that guy is so nice. He gave some money to some homeless person. No. It's not because of any gains on your part whatsoever. It's because of you want them to feel good, to benefit. That's compassion. That's compassion. That's intent. And that intention, as we'll talk about intentions as we get further deep down into explaining existence. So, that's what stars are doing. That's what celestial bodies are doing. They are granting each other just for the other one to exist. They are granting each other existence. The ones that are there, they grant the others to come into existence. The laws are set in such a way, the rules that govern existence are devised and designed in such a way, because there are laws. It's not lawless, right? That's what physics is finding out, right? So the laws are already there, and physics is finding them out. Scientists are finding them out. That's all scientists are in the business of doing, figuring out the laws that are already there. They're not inventing the laws, they're discovering them. Einstein, Stephen Hawking, Newton, Aristotle, Ptolemy, all these people that found out the laws of whatever, laws of universe, laws of physics, laws of chemistry, laws of mathematics, laws of biology, if there are, physics and mathematics are the really hard sciences, and chemistry. As you get into biology and social sciences, they are hard sciences too, but we cannot figure them out as well yet. Okay, that's digression. So I'll come back to the main topic, which is there are laws there, and those laws are devised in such a way to propagate, promulgate, to emphasize compassion in existence. Okay? Good coffee. So, great coffee. Organic. So, with honey. Yay. So, yeah, so that's they're based on compassion. So, and where did that attribute come from? Well, from the maker. The maker meant to put it there. Period. Remember, things do not come from nowhere. Right? We already established that. There's a cause and effect. Everything that is made has a maker. That includes your thoughts, your intentions, everything. This is one of those rules. Everything has a maker. No exception in this physical realm. In this physical realm, everything has a maker, and your thoughts are within this physical realm, meaning they are not physical themselves, but they occur in this physical realm. Anything that occurs in this physical realm has a maker. That includes the laws. And you cannot have laws in our human societies without a parliament, or without somebody, or without making those laws. It's impossible. It's impossible. Even parents go to their children. I don't necessarily agree with this, but whether I agree or disagree, I'm not saying I disagree with it, but I don't always agree with it, right? So, but when parents go to their children, my house, my rules. As long as you're in this house, you live by my rules. They might as well say my laws, my rules. Those are synonyms. I don't split hairs as much as I can when it comes to concepts, when it comes to words, as long as they convey the same concept, So, parents make the laws. It's like, be home at 10. Okay, that's a law. Who made it? The father or the mother. Right? You cannot say, we have to be home at 10, but nobody has really made that law. That doesn't occur. That doesn't happen. Or you can say, here, if you own a car, you have to have a valid registration. Well, who made that law? The state. That law cannot be there without the state. So every attribute, every characteristic that you see in existence of anything, that's because that attribute was in the maker, in its perfection, in its infinite form, in the maker. And then the maker granted some of it, a portion of it, to existence. Because in a physical existence, you cannot have infinity. You do not. The concept exists, but you cannot physically have it. So you cannot have an infinite number of apples, infinite number of tables, infinite number of people. Even though there's a bunch of people in the world, there's still a number. We count them. There's roughly about 8 billion as I'm talking to you right now, right? And there is a definite exact number. Well, we don't know it, but who cares? We all know that there is a definite exact number. That's the point. Molecules, even though they are very tiny and everything is made up of atoms, matter is made up of atoms, there is a number of atoms in existence, and there's a number. And it just makes sense, right? It's not an infinite number because it's a physical thing. So it does not have an infinite number. However, outside of the physical realm, that is the realm that we do not have the capacity to understand, because no device, no machine can understand the realm outside of itself. Because it has to step outside of the system that it is in, and it cannot do that. It cannot do that. In the physical sense, we will get to concepts that diverge from this physical realm, meaning emanate. Concepts that emanate and conditions that emanate and are derived from this physical realm that allow for that to happen, but that's for the future talks. Okay? So, but so long as things are physical, they cannot understand non-physical things. Okay? Things that have non-physical existence. Because that's a realm that's outside of the physical realm, and no physical thing can, with its physicality, with its physical body, can step outside of the physical realm into the non-physical realm and still have its physical body. So it's impossible to, and that's true about any machine. We are a machine after all. Our physical body is a machine. It's a complex machine, but it's a machine, right? So is the cell phone that I'm speaking into right now. So is everything. A pen. A pen is a machine, right? A toothpick is a machine. It's a tool. Okay? It's a physical tool, a machine, whatever. Let's not split hairs, right? A machine is more complicated than a tool, but it's a device, right? So the attributes, the characteristics that we see in the physical realm are the attributes of the maker, which we concluded that is the existence of a maker is factual. The attributes have to come from somewhere. They come from the maker. The maker has them in its infinity, every attribute. And we have a little bit of it. Okay? So that compassion that we see in the stars, that came from the maker, who has infinite compassion. Infinite. Hard to imagine what it would be like. Sounds pretty good. Sounds really, really good. So, okay. So, okay. What are the other attributes? So compassion is the main one. I'll mention another one, and then this is going to end pretty soon. So, another one. Now, the main one is compassion, because tolerance, okay. The second one is justice. Justice, being fair, being just. Justice actually comes from compassion. If there were no compassion, it would be impossible for justice to exist. The concept of justice comes from you have compassion for other things. Otherwise, what reason is there to be just? There's no reason. If you didn't care about them, if you were not compassionate towards them, if you didn't want to give them happiness just for the sake of them having happiness, not because of you, there's no need for justice in a compassionless existence. So that's why, how do we know? Stars are in balance. You know the emblem of justice? The blind angel with the counterbalance scale that's perfectly horizontal, right? Balance. All the stars are in perfect harmony and balance. If a little this way or that way, they either get thrown out of their orbit or the planets that are going around the stars, and the whole thing is going around in circles and spheres, really. So they're going around each other, and if they go within margins, right? Within astronomical margins. But if they go this way, they get thrown out of the orbit. If they go inwards, they get sucked in. So everything is, all these billions and billions and billions of galaxies and stars and planets and asteroids and celestial bodies and nebulae and stuff, and there's a lot of empty space in the middle. Empty to us is filled with gravity, at the least that we know, right? And so they are all in balance, perfect balance. We see it every day. They're going around each other. So they're just to each other. They're like, hey, I'm being just to you, even though you're huge, even though you're very small, I'm being just to you. I could destroy you. I could just suck you in. You're a little pebble compared to me, but I'm letting you go around. I'm being compassionate and just. And you are to me. Because that balance that you're creating around you is contributing to my existence. So compassion and justice. We will come to the rest in other videos. Thank you for watching. And until next time, be healthy and happy. Thank you.